I want to ask you the question, when you think about boundaries at work, what comes to mind for you? Maybe pause it for a minute and think about how you would answer that if we were in person having this conversation. Because I'm in the process of sorting something out and I don't have a clear insight yet, but I'm hoping maybe some of you do. So I'm going to share this even though it's kind of mid-process. I was meeting with my women's group at work and I posed the question, how do you think about boundaries? And we all had a lot to say around this, and most of us had examples of times when maybe we were like doing too much and needing to figure out how to say no, or we felt maybe we're being taken advantage of and being asked to do things that maybe other coworkers weren't asking to do. So we just had a lot to like, boundaries just is something we spend a lot of time thinking about. And following that conversation, a couple of us were out after work, and me and one of the women in the group were talking to a male colleague, and I asked him, like, how do you think about boundaries? And he said, what do you mean? And I was kind of like flabbergasted for a second, like, oh, that's so interesting. Like, women instantly know what to say when that question comes up. Like, yeah, I know, I struggle with that. And he didn't even know what it meant. There's a few ways you could interpret that. You could say, well, women are so concerned about setting boundaries because we don't want to work hard or be team players, which I think instinctually we all know that's not what's happening. But I also think it's lazy to completely demonize a gender or any group of people. Like that's just lazy. Like obviously that's not it, that one of us is better than the other. But I think it is true that we exist in different paradigms because of social expectations, the way that we're brought up, what we're told, what we come to believe. And that is what I find interesting, because I think people do hold very different belief systems. And I like to understand, well, what is the belief system they're coming from that is making them see things as they do? So I proceeded to ask a couple more males about boundaries, and they all had a similar version of that reaction, like, what do you mean? They were kind of confused by the question. And I want to do a deeper dive on this, because what is that about? Do women need to work harder to set boundaries because we will get taken advantage of? Do we tend to do more because we're operating from this assumption that others are also going to do more? So by pitching in and helping out, if everybody else is doing that, then it doesn't feel icky. It doesn't feel like you're getting taken advantage of. But then when that doesn't happen, you're just the idiot that's out here doing the most, while everyone else is just like, it looks like she's going to handle that, so I'm just going to let her do it, which I have been in that situation. But I also like consider myself very much a team player. If anything, I need to like pump the brakes and not take on too much. But why do men not struggle with this? Is it because they don't struggle because they don't have to think about it? They just automatically know when to say no. They don't have to decide. There's not this internal monologue around it. Is that why? I really think that a lot of boundaries are an inside job, where some people just don't get asked to do things because people know that is a no for them. And maybe they had to have a couple scenarios come up before people knew that. I feel like people had to test them. But sometimes I really think they're giving off that vibe. So how do you get to the place where you're giving off that vibe? But at the same time, I do want to be a team player. I do want to be helpful and work in this kind of communal setting where everybody is excited to contribute, and someone pulls back and someone steps in. But if that's not the case and you're just always stepping in, it's just not good. It's just not good. And sometimes we take too long to realize we're in that state. So if you could answer the question below, let me know if you're male or female, and how do you think about boundaries? This is very interesting to me. One other thing that makes me extra intrigued by this topic is when I search, like let's just search YouTube and see what kind of conversations people are having about this. I can't even search it. If you search boundaries, you get a lot of relationship advice. If you search boundaries at work, it doesn't talk about the gender divide with boundaries. So like, is really nobody talking about this? Fascinating.